Broadway is famous. Off-Broadway, also pretty well known. But have you ever heard of off-Broadway? Well, that movement is the topic for today's Theater History Thursday. By the late 1950s, Broadway was a commercial machine with big budget productions, and off-Broadway, while smaller, was still aiming for financial success. In response, a different kind of theater emerged, rejecting commercialism entirely. Off-Broadway wasn't about selling tickets or making money. It was art for art's sake, unfiltered, experimental, and independent. Unlike the theaters uptown, Off-Broadway was born in tiny makeshift venues, starting in 1958 with Cafe Chino in Greenwich Village. It's considered the birthplace of Off-Broadway. With barely any money, no formal stage, and a laid-back attitude towards censorship, Cafe Chino launched the careers of many playwrights, some who would later find commercial success. Then came Ellen Stewart, known as Mama, who championed experimental, international, and boundary-pushing work with Café La Mama. In 1961, it became a launchpad for some of the most influential performers of the century and is still one of the best-known spaces for underground and non-traditional theater artists. A few blocks away, the Village Voice, a newspaper founded in 1955, played a crucial role in giving the downtown independent scene attention, highlighting new and compelling theater and bringing legitimacy to these plays and venues. Judson Poets Theater, led by Al Carmines, offered space for political and socially daring work. Theater Genesis became another hub for experimental playwrights. Bold new voices emerged, including Sam Shepard, who became one of the movement's most recognizable names. Then came a wave of independent theatrical pioneers pushing the experiment even further. Playwright Edward Albee created the Playwrights Workshop. The Open Theater explored movement, improv, and ensemble-based storytelling. Richard Foreman's ontological hysteric theater challenged audiences with abstract, avant-garde performances. Through the 70s, Off-Broadway continued evolving. Mabou Mines continues to push boundaries of theater by blending it with visual and performance art. Soho Rep followed and is still an experimental powerhouse. Popular playwright Maria Irene Fornes began her career on Off-Broadway spaces. And while it wasn't directly a theater event, the 1969 Stonewall riots also had a significant impact on LGBTQ rep in theater. Off-Broadway quickly became a space where queer voices could finally be heard, loud and clear. By the end of the 70s, Off-Broadway had transformed from a ragtag rebellion into a full-fledged movement, one that's shaped American theater. But that's just the beginning. Next week, we'll explore Off-Broadway through the 80s and 90s and the new theater players that emerged, including new perspectives. So make sure to follow us and tune in again next week for more theater history.